Welcome, family and friends, guests and loved ones, faculty, staff, and of course, second-year students to the Michigan College of Optometry White Coating Ceremony for the class of 2028. I'm Dr. Daniel Taylor, Dean of the Michigan College of Optometry, and it is my pleasure to preside over this special ceremony today. With me on this day is Dr. Robert Buckingham, Michigan Optometric Association President and adjunct faculty in the University Eye Center Clinic. Let's give Dr. Buckingham, our special guest, a round of applause today. Before we begin the ceremonies, allow me to draw your attention to a few very important announcements. Ferris photographer Richard Pippo will be taking pictures of the interns as they receive their white coats and certificates, and will be available after the ceremony if you would like to have additional pictures taken. At the end of the ceremony, we will be taking a class picture, so please do bear with us for a few moments before congratulating your student clinician. Today's ceremony is a tradition of welcoming our students into the world of clinical practice. However, students, you're not the first to have taken that step. In order to illustrate the fraternity of professional practice that these students are entering today, allow me to request of our guests that all Michigan College of Optometry graduates and other doctors of optometry please stand right now and be recognized. Thank you. You may be seated. The white coat is perhaps the most recognizable sign of expertise and nobility, sacrifice and service in the clinical arts. In recent years, more than ever, we have witnessed clinicians devoting their time and commitment to the benefit of their patients and the health of the general public at large. Optometrists are no exception to this. Throughout our profession, optometrists have found creative ways to provide compassionate, responsive care to all those in need. By doing so, they ensure that their most precious gift, vision, is not compromised. The first white coat ceremony was held in 1993 at Columbia University Medical College and quickly became a common practice for clinical practitioners of all kinds. An important rite of passage at MCO, the white coat ceremony symbolizes the transition of academic students to clinical interns, who will enjoy the added responsibilities of providing vision care to patients. As future doctors, these clinical interns have the responsibility to respect their patient as a person, to do what is in the best interest of their patient, to put their patient's interests ahead of their own, to teach their patients about their conditions and possible treatment options so that their patients can intelligently participate in their own care, to act in accordance with the best public health and welfare, and to coordinate patient care with other providers when appropriate. Shortly, students, you will be affirming your commitment to the highest standards of ethics and patient care. Our keynote speaker this evening is Dr. Robert Buckingham. Dr. Buckingham earned his Doctor of Optometry degree from Michigan College of Optometry and a PhD from Western Michigan University, and served 20 years in the U.S. Air Force, receiving the Army's Order of Military Medical Merit. He is currently serving as president of the Michigan Optometric Association. Dr. Buckingham is an adjunct faculty member at the Michigan College of Optometry and director of basketball operations for Ferris State University's men's basketball team, providing leadership in academics, administration, and athletics. Dr. Buckingham has held senior leadership roles in higher education and optometry, including the associate and assistant deans at the Michigan College of Optometry, and has been widely recognized with state, national, and military honors for his service and leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Buckingham.
Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about, but I'd kind of like to meet that guy. So I do have a cheat sheet here. We'll try to get through it in Christine told me I had to cut it down from 3 hours to less than that. And I told her, well, I might be able to squeeze out an hour and 45 minutes out of it. So I've been slicing and dicing, and I think I've got it down to their time limit, okay? So many years ago, I was the assistant dean for clinical affairs here. And Dr. Kevin Alexander asked that I put together a white coat ceremony. They had never had one before then. And so I said, okay, yeah. So when I look at the things that we do today, I noticed, boy, that's still kind of what we did back then. And I back then when I planned it, I said, we needed a keynote speaker. And so I said, well, let's get the president of the Michigan Optometric Association to come in and be our keynote speaker. Then a few years later, Dr. Shad, who is the current clinic director, she asked me to be on the MOA board. And God, what an opportunity. Problem is, I've already done that. I got that t-shirt, got that plaque with the mallet, because I was the president of the Armed Forces Optometric Society back in 1992 to 93. Yeah, that was before you were even born. I was doing what I'm doing today for the MOA. So I kind of had that, and I'm a little bit hesitant, but I never, when opportunities knock, I always try to take those. And so I had many years to decide on what to talk about today. And there's one thing in my life that really stuck out that I'd like to pass along to you as you go through this journey in life. And so I'm at what they call Armed Forces Staff College. That's where they send people to learn how to manage wars. Why are they sending an optometrist? I don't know, but I got a 4-star general to say, we want to send this guy to Armed Forces Staff College. So I go there, and I'm in this office of this Marine captain, and behind him, there was a little saying on it. And it said, success is where preparation meets opportunity. And I looked at that. Success is where preparation meets opportunity. And I thought, wow, is that ever so true? I see some of you are confused. Let me turn that around for you. All right, here we go. Okay, success is where preparation meets opportunity. Now you can see it, right? Got to have a good lecture. You got to have a visual aid. So this is, you guys, you can't see it very well here. I'm going to put it at a 45 there. Way these people can see it and you can see it. You're going to have to, back over here, you're going to have to read backwards, okay? So success is where preparation meets opportunity. And now if you give a quote, you always have to have somebody who said that, right? Who's the author of that quote? And underneath the quote, this is 1989. Underneath the quote, it says, anonymous. And so now they have this thing called Google, where you can plug it in and figure out who made that quote. Great quote. Who made it? It's not on there. Now, a guy named Bobby Unser, he was a race car driver. In 2000, and I think it was 2004, he said, success is where preparation and opportunity meet. Twisted it around, but it's not the same as success is where preparation meets opportunity. So I can't give him credit for that quote because he twisted it around a little bit. So where does that apply to you? Well, what you think you're going through right now is preparation. Your faculty and your staff are preparing you for opportunities to be successful. They're preparing you to be the best optometrist out there, and they're going to do a great job. I've seen their graduates. I've compared their graduates to other schools, and MCO, Mission College of Optometry, does a fantastic job at producing optometrists. So you're going to do really well. And what's going to happen is you're going to cross that stage. You're going to have your diploma in hand, and right about that time, you realize, oh no, there's so much that I don't know. You've only scratched the surface, and now you realize, oh, I got this license to practice, but I'm missing out on a lot. So that happened to me, and I decided, I was in Colorado, it's 1981, I just graduated. I said, there's a lot I don't know about in life, and what can I do? And I started volunteering for this, that, and the other thing. But one thing I wanted to be was learn some things in life. And I felt like I didn't have enough. If a patient came in and had a seizure or passed out for me, I thought maybe I should learn some more on that. So what I did was I became a certified EMT in the state of Colorado. After that, I went to what is known as Combat Casualty Care course. Then I went to advanced cardiac and life support. That's where, they go into an ER, then to they're brought into the emergency room, and their heart's stopped, and you have to give them injections to survive them and get them on, shock their heart, right? Then I decided, well, let's do advanced trauma and life support, ATLS. That's where if you get shot, you know how to bring them back and treat their wounds. Okay, so you're probably out there saying, well, okay, you had all that additional stuff. Have you ever used it? Yes, I have. Because preparation leads to that opportunity so you can be successful. And I've been successful. Okay, well, what happened? Well, the ones that I can tell you about, there's some things that I did, which probably I can't say because they're filming right now. So, but I'll tell you about the one. I'm in a plane at 30,000 feet. Okay, you're up in a plane at 30,000 feet. I have the middle seat. You know how you're scrunched in between people, and I look over to my left and I see this young lady. She's pressing this button to get the flight attendant. She's pressing it and pressing it and pressing it. I'm wondering what's going on here. And then I look beside her to her right, and I see her, who I think is her husband. He's passed out, white as a ghost. His head's up against the seat in front of him. And I'm thinking, oh no, here's an opportunity. I'm going through my ABCs, airway, breathing, circulation, stuff like that, because I've had the training for that. And the guy next to me is oblivious to the situation. His situational awareness is like zero. And he's got his table down, and so I have to climb over the top of him. Now realize in an airplane that if you're in an aisle seat, that the little latch for the seat belt is on towards the side, and that the armrest doesn't come up all the time. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So I got to get him out of that seat and get him flat. So I have to reach over, get an unhooked thing, pick it up, and all this time, and this is not taking that long, all this time with back then I had like 4 synapses, now I'm down to 3, and so things take a little bit longer to process, and so I pick him up, and at this time I'm thinking, okay, you remember that if you come upon a person who is just flat out and you don't know why they are, you have to worry about a neck injury, right? Well, I know he walked onto the plane, and that nothing hit him on top of the head, so I can just lift him up and get him flat. Okay, so I get him up, get him flat. What's the next thing you got to do? Well, it's A of the ABCs, the airways, breathing, circulation. I got to do the airway. Well, if you've ever seen somebody drowned or something like that, the first thing they do is they kind of turn the head to the side so that the water can come out. So I turn his head to the side, and what happens is he throws up all over the place. And that's what I kind of expected because of the fact that, well, he was probably sick and some of that vomit got stuck in his throat and that was blocking his airway. All right, luckily I knew that was gonna happen, and so he didn't vomit all over me. He may have gotten the person to my left, but it wasn't on me. So, all right, so now what happens with your patient is they are looking at you and you're upside down to them because I have him lying this way, his head's down here, and he's looking at me like, who in the hell are you? And why am I on the floor here on the plane? So what's the first thing they want to do? They want to get up. Well, that's not what you want if somebody passes out or stops breathing. You need to keep them lying flat. So hey, just lie flat. You know, just stay there. So usually they want you to stay there till 5 minutes. So I'm looking at his color. His color is coming back. He's no longer as white as a sheet. And so I say, okay. And I get him up part of the way. Finally, I have him sit up. And then what happens is I get him up. I stand him up. And by this time, there's another guy who's helping me out. So the other guy, because I'm behind him in the front of the planes that way, the flight attendants say, well, we're going to have him have a seat up in first class. So this other guy takes him up to first class. And then what happens is everybody starts applauding. They're applauding the other guy who walks him up front, not the guy who did all the work of saving the guy's life. And so I mean, okay, well, you know, it is what it is. So yes, I have used that emergency training because I've had lots of years of CPR, right? And as you know, CPR is just, you can't do it in just-in-time training. You know what just-in-time training is? Just-in-time training is you get the knowledge just before you need it. CPR is not something that you can do just in time. Because, let me get the TikTok video up here. Doctor, the patient's turning blue. Well, hold on a second. I think I need to get YouTube. Let me see, okay, 15.2. Doctor, that's out. You don't use 15.2 anymore. And now the patient's dying on you. You know, you need to know this ahead of time. That's the preparation part. You need to be prepared, and you're going to learn that this summer, I hear. You're going to learn CPR. And it's important because you never know when that opportunity is going to rise to help someone. But it's going to happen. You're going to have patients faint. But you want to know what it is. I felt it was so important that I taught my children at age 10 and 8 how to do CPR and the Heimlich maneuver. Because we didn't want to wait until just in time. We wanted to have them be able to do that. So my son, he's a senior in high school. One of his friends starts choking on the food. He does the Heimlich maneuver. She coughs out this big, huge chunk of meat and saves her life. You got to be prepared because you never know when that opportunity is going to happen. So success is where preparation meets opportunity. So we talked a little about that preparation. Let's talk about the other side, opportunity. Now, opportunity happens all the time, but there's a little problem with it. As Ann Landers said, opportunities are disguised as hard work, so most people don't recognize them. Now, Ann Landers used to be in the newspaper. I don't know if you've ever seen a newspaper before, but they were out there. So she was in the newspaper giving advice to people. So again, opportunities are disguised as hard work, and so most people don't recognize them. In my life, when an opportunity knocked, I always opened the door. I always opened that door and took that opportunity. So yeah, I am the president of the MOA, and I've already done that before for a different state affiliate, but there was an opportunity. So yeah, and I'm chairman of the board of optometry. So the board of optometry is the licensing board for the state, and so don't get into trouble, all right? Please don't do that. And along my career in the military, I was able to do many things that, you know, you don't normally get to do. The last 5 years, I was stationed with the Army, and they were looking for somebody to be the secretary to the general staff. Secretary to general staff for this Army general. I was the only Air Force person at this military Army installation, and they were looking for a volunteer. So, all right, I'll do it. I'll volunteer. And what the job was is we'd get tasked by people like, have you ever heard of the President of the United States? Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Chief of Army, Chief of Air Force. They would task us to do something. And it would come to me, and I would decide within my organization, who would I give that task to? And then I would tell them, you have to give it to me in this time so I can get it back to the general so the general can sign off of it. But what an opportunity. Had nothing to do with optometry, but what an opportunity in life to do some great things. And with each of those opportunities, it allowed me to think outside of the box. I got to color outside the lines. Can you believe that? That's fun stuff. Again, it had nothing to do with optometry. Albert Einstein said, you have to color outside the lines once in a while to make your life a masterpiece. You have to color outside the lines once in a while to make your life a masterpiece. Now, I hear Albert Einstein's a pretty smart guy. He beat me. He's really close to Avesh Raghunandan. Okay? How many you got Avesh right now? Yeah, they know the inside joke. Now, you tell them about what the joke is, okay? It's not really a joke. So, he's really smart. So, opportunities are out there, and there's many opportunities at MCO. There's SFOSH, OSG, MASPA, AOSA, FCO, and many more organizations that you can join and learn some things and have opportunities to grow. So you want to take advantage of those. And there's going to be many after you graduate, okay? So I'm nearing the end of how long have I been up here? Has it been 2 hours yet? No. Christine says, no, I still have a little bit more time. Okay. So I've got two additional things that I need to talk to you about. Okay. You're at a year and a half in, right? In another year, there's going to be this big test, right? They have to take national boards next spring. It's generally in March. So we're a year and it's next year. You're going to have to take national boards. And what you're all going to notice, and you will, is that the stress level goes through the roof. When they looked at their schedule in first year, what they saw was, oh, look at this. This is pretty good. I got this. I got half the time off. I have to go in the morning for these classes, and then I got this one lab in the afternoon. That's pretty good. Second year comes around and goes, okay, I'm in class every morning, and I only got like a couple days off in the afternoon. Third year hits, and you look at the schedule and you go, I have no time off. I'm in either clinic or lab or a class all day long. And on top of that, we're going to throw this test that you have to take in order to get a license in the United States. Now, you Canadians who don't want to do that, you can take the Canadian board, and that's fine. But if you want to practice in the United States, you have to have, or at least in Michigan, you have to have passed the National Board of Examiners in optometry. So that stress level that occurs changes their personality. It does. Let me tell you. They want to be left alone so they can study. And they need to study because they got to pass this test. It's very important. So you're going to notice that. Realize that come April of that same year, they go back to normal. You know, they're carefree, go lucky. In fact, what we find is that they don't care about studying anymore. They're going to just kind of breeze through everything. So realize, for those of you who are parents, siblings, or significant others, that during that time period, they're going to need some time to study. You know, I did my PhD with help of Dr. Sarah Bush. She was the one who helped me put all the information into the computer. She was also the one with the red pen. You know, you never want to get one of those red pens because you write it out and then she would slash and burn, and it came back bloody to me with all the changes that she wanted, and I would do that. And what our dissertation was on was the predictors of success in the Michigan College of Optometry. See, you all had to apply through Optomcast, Optometry Centralized Application Service. All that stuff is in the computer. Well, we took that information and we looked, well, what are the predictors of GPA for first, second, third, and fourth years. And what are the predictors of graduation? And we came out with predictors of GPA for each of the 4 years. When it came to looking at what are the predictors of graduation, you have to do a logistics regression for that. It's because it's binary, either graduate or don't graduate, right? Yeah. So what we found was there's nothing in Optomcast that tells you whether or not you're going to fail at the Michigan College of Optometry. Whatever is in Optomcast is not going to happen. Now, we've had people that fail. So if everything in Optomcast says you're going to graduate, why are people failing? Well, I was assistant dean for clinical affairs and associate dean for academic and student affairs. I kind of knew what the reason was. And what it comes down to is distractors. So what are distractors? Everybody's a distractor. What happens is their friends want to take them out to the bar. You know, when we were undergraduate, we used to go to the bar all the time. Come on, why don't you come out? Let's have fun like we used to. What they don't realize is that they're taking 22 credit hours at a graduate level. It's a lot harder. It is significantly hard to do. And then, of course, mom and dad, you don't visit us as much as you used to. You need to come home. You don't have to study. Yeah, no, they do have to study. They do have to study. So those distractors, having interviewed many people who had to leave MCO, those are the distractors. And we need to minimize those distractors so that they can graduate. Especially next year when national boards come around, they will have that stress level gets really high. You need to give them time to study for that big test. All right? Second item. And this is pretty much an open invitation. Who here has ever played the Call of Duty game? Yeah, let's see, raise a hand. Who's done the Call of Duty? Okay. Have you guys done, come on, raise your hands. You've done the Call of Duty. All right. So as you're walking around and you're looking down, you see all these guns on the ground. I have those guns. And I have a firing range out my back door. This is an open invitation to you. You can bring your parents. I've had parents come out to the house. That's fine. I've had siblings. I've had significant others come out to the house. And we're going to have some fun for a couple hours just shooting guns. Because it's a stress reliever. And there are times when you need stress relief for that. Okay? Remember that open invitation. Some of those people out there, they're going to remind you that he offered that, and they go, hey, we need to go to Dr. B's house to go shoot guns. All right? They'll remind you. So in closing, success is where preparation meets opportunity. They're going to prepare you to be the best optometrist ever. But there's still that you need to learn beyond that. When I graduated, there was 2 soft lenses to fit. There was 1 gas permeable lens. We didn't have an automated visual field. We didn't have an OCT. We didn't have any of that stuff. Heck, we couldn't even put those drops in the eyes that would make people die. Well, they lied on that one. They don't die when you put those dilating drops in. And when you treat them for glaucoma, they don't generally die on you. So there's a lot more that you have today than you did back then. The MOA has been fighting for you for years to expand your scope of practice. We're going to continue to do that fight with your help. So my question to you is, when opportunity knocks, what are you going to do? Are you going to open that door or slam it in the face of the other person. Thank you very much.
Dr. Buckingham, thank you for those inspiring words. Please accept this small token of our appreciation.
Not small.
Oh, well, just wait till you open the bag. Now, please welcome Dr. Emily Alexson, faculty member at the Michigan College of Optometry, who will be assisting us in the coding process. Dr. Alexson will now provide an overview of the credentialing and privileging process at Michigan College of Optometry. Dr. Alexson.
Thank you. It takes tremendous effort to ensure that our students care for their patients with the highest quality clinical skills and expertise under the guidance of clinical faculty. For the past year and a half, hardworking, dedicated teams have been preparing students for this day. For their commitment to the success of our students, we would like to acknowledge the faculty and staff of Michigan College of Optometry. Let's give them all a round of applause. Now, I will briefly discuss the credentialing and privileging procedures for MCO students, which are critical components to their optometric education. Credentialing is the process by which a healthcare professional's qualifications are verified to ensure that they possess the requisite knowledge and skills to care for their patients. At MCO, the students' knowledge and skills have been assessed through rigorous coursework that includes both classroom and laboratory instruction. To be credentialed, students must demonstrate the required clinical competencies and be certified by their faculty instructors to provide optometric care to University Eye Center patients. Privileging is the process where rights are granted to the clinician, or in this case, the student clinician, to perform defined clinical tasks based upon their credentials. Within the optometric curriculum, increasing clinical privileges are granted as MCO students expand their clinical proficiency through additional coursework and clinical skills assessments. Second-year MCO students receive privileges to examine in patients initially within the University Eye Center's primary care service, and those privileges are expanded into areas of specialty care such as pediatrics, vision therapy, contact lenses, and medical eye care as they progress through the program. We welcome each of these students to the world of clinical patient care. Assisting Doctors Taylor and Buckingham is MCO faculty member, Dr. Paula McDowell. Now I will read the name of each student receiving their white coat and clinical privileges at the Ferris State University Eye Center. Regina Abdelmasih. Nawaf Abdo. Bizan Anvari. Julia Baldas. Spencer Baptiste. Kyle Benko. Kyle Bennick. Hunter Bentley. Morgan Eisler. Crystal Garib. Emily Gilbert. Levi Giroux. Brenna Gorsline. Alexis Heisinger. Burak Hormuzlu. Jenna Jones. Isaac Cashin. Eileen Lang. Kylie Mead. Emma Miron. Megan Nelson. Rachel O'Day. Abigail Peterson. Sonia Qureshi. Alan Ritter. Benjamin Rosendale. Jacob Salee. Margaret Seaver. Brooke Thomas. Grace Underwood. Maida Vutz. Elizabeth Wintek. Lily Woodgate. Vincent Yang. Robert Yaremko.
The optometric oath is the profession's statement of mutually agreed upon ethics and responsibilities. It describes your obligation to your patients, your colleagues, and your community. As such, it is not taken lightly. We all agree to hold ourselves and one another to the standards of the oath for the betterment of our patients and profession. Class of 2028 and all optometrists in attendance, please stand as we repeat the oath together. For your convenience, the oath is printed on the back of your programs. So please raise your right hands and join me in reciting the optometric oath of practice. With full deliberation, I freely and solemnly pledge that I affirm that the health of my patient will be my first consideration. I will practice the art and science of optometry faithfully and conscientiously and to the fullest scope of my competence. I will uphold and honorably promote by example and action the highest standards, ethics, and ideals of my chosen profession and the honor of the degree Doctor of Optometry which has been granted me. I will provide professional care for the diverse populations who seek my services with concern, with compassion, and with due regard for their human rights and dignity. I will work to expand access to quality care and improve health equity for all communities. I will place the treatment of those who seek my care above personal gain and strive to see that none shall lack for proper care. I will hold as privileged and inviolable all information entrusted to me in confidence by my patients. I will advise my patients fully and honestly of all which may serve to restore, maintain, or enhance their vision and general health. I will strive continuously to broaden my knowledge and skills so that my patients may benefit from all new and efficacious means to enhance the care of human vision. I will share information cordially and unselfishly with my fellow doctors of optometry and other professionals for the benefit of patients and the advancement of human knowledge and welfare. I will do my utmost to serve my community, my country, and humankind as a citizen as well as a doctor of optometry. I hereby commit myself to be steadfast in the performance of this, my solemn oath and obligation. Thank you. Please be seated. It is now my pleasure to invite Brooke Thomas and Emily Gilbert, class representatives for the class of 2028, to give their class remarks.
Thank you, Dean Taylor, Dr. Buckingham, Dr. McDowell, Dr. Alexson, for all of your work today in putting this together for us. Good evening, everyone. Today marks a meaningful milestone in our journey towards becoming an optometrist, and we thank you all for joining us tonight. My name is Brooke, and I am a representative for the class of 2028, and I'm honored to speak tonight on behalf of the class. To begin, we would like to express our utmost gratitude for those that have supported us thus far in our journey. We would like to thank our faculty and administration who continue to challenge us to think critically, act compassionately, and strive to be the best. Your guidance, patience, and dedication have been instrumental in our development, shaping not only our clinical knowledge and skills, but also the professionalism, integrity, and commitment that this career demands of us. We are deeply grateful for the example that each of you set and for the impact that you have made on us each already. To our family, friends, significant others, everyone here to support us today, and those rooting for us from home, we would like to thank you for your unwavering love and support. You have been with us through every challenge and triumph, helping us through our undergraduate studies, our optometry admissions tests, interviewing, and now, as we begin to prepare seeing patients as clinicians. We truly could not have made it to this point without you constantly cheering us on. Your sacrifices, advice, and constant belief in our abilities have lifted us up in times of doubt and inspired us to keep going. This milestone is yours as much as it is ours, because we could not have reached this point without your endless support, care, and unwavering faith. This ceremony tonight signifies more than just our transition into a clinician. It reminds us that optometry is not just about vision, but about people. Every patient we meet with comes with their own unique story, and receiving this coat comes with the privilege of caring for those patients with compassion, integrity, and respect. Looking out at my classmates tonight, I have no doubt that each and every one of you will become great clinicians. It has been my greatest privilege to represent such a bright and caring group of future optometrists. I am so honored to be taking this next step in our journey with all of you guys. Congrats.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Emily, the other representative for the class of 2028, and I'd now like to take a few moments to speak directly to my classmates. It seems like just yesterday that we were getting to know each other, constantly getting picked on for being the quiet class, and now we've spent countless hours getting to know each other through classes, labs, nights out, maybe a few trips to the casino here and there. Every one of us has faced hard days, long nights, probably a couple moments of doubt here and there, but I love knowing that we have and will continue to support each other through every step of the way. As we sit here tonight, I want you all to remember that this white coat represents not only our individual accomplishments, but also the strength and resilience of our entire class. I'm honored to learn and grow alongside such driven, compassionate, determined people, and I look forward to continuing this journey together. As we embark on this journey, ready to see our very first patients in the clinic, I want everyone to remember how we got here to begin with. Remember the goals you set for yourself when you began your undergrad studies and how hard you had to push yourself to achieve those goals, spending weeks studying for exams, probably longer studying for the OAT, attending orientation and being nervous about meeting new people, spending that first semester here at MCO trying to acclimate to the demands of graduate school, and then I want you to look at how far you've come, where you stand now, about to start doing what you came here to do. Every one of us has worked for years for this moment, and I hope you're all able to look at what you've accomplished and be proud of yourself. I know that some of us may be nervous about taking this next step and using our skills on people that may not be perfect patients, like we often are for each other, but receiving these coats tonight proves that we all deserve to be here. Today, we stand together as classmates and friends, bound by shared experiences and a common goal. No matter where this journey takes us, the connections we have built will remain, and I'm proud to call you my classmates today, friends for life, and colleagues in the future. Congratulations.
Thank you both very much. Congratulations again to all members of the class of 2028 for taking this important step into the community of optometric clinicians. Along with the faculty and staff of Michigan College of Optometry, I wish you well as you go through your clinical training. Once again, special thanks to the Michigan Optometric Association for making this evening possible, and to Dr. Robert Buckingham for his inspiring words. Class of 2028, please stand. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the class of 2028.